Conspiracy theory champion Alex Jones had his third appearance on Joe Rogan, and it was pretty great. I feel like Joe Rogan he's a bit of a stickler, which I kind of understand. He was trying to fact check every single thing that Alex Jones was trying to get across. And it kind of reminded me of like the first presidential debate where it's just like stop and go. The moderator kept stopping him and didn't really let any good conversation or good debate go back and forth. So Jamie did a good job. Alex Jones acknowledged Joe Rogan's producer, engineer, Jamie, how fast he looks stuff up, how fast he can check. But the most fun Alex Jones appearances are just the crazy back and forth, the interdimensional craziness is going on, Joe. Just the batshit crazy stuff. It's what, honestly, say what you will about Alex Jones, he's an entertainer. It was great to see Tim Dillon there too. That was to see them together, because Tim Dillon's like Chris Farley meets Alex Jones if they were gay. Like, so it's really just funny dynamic. It was great to see Tim Dillon just crack up at some of the things Alex Jones was saying. And in another universe, Alex Jones is a great stand-up comedian, probably still canceled on multiple platforms, but probably a great comedian. He also has a great movie voice. I don't know if you ever heard him do like the In a World. He's very capable voice actor, right? But it was great. But I wish it was longer. I wish there was more back and forth. And I think Alex Jones was right. Generally, I don't like when people push that on people. Like, oh, you should, if you don't really feel like drinking, oh, you should just have a drink. But Alex was right in this case. Joe needed to let loose a little bit. And you got to wonder if he was doing it to avoid being censored or for Spotify, if he didn't want Alex to get too off the rails, or at least Joe could appear to be the voice of reason and not share these points of views so much. Maybe not. Joe can go back and forth. I've seen him uptight in certain interviews. I've seen him crazy. So, could just be overanalyzing it, definitely. But we might see him on Joe Rogan's election podcast. That's exciting. I think it was like Kyle Kalinske, Alex Jones. Maybe was it Tim Dillon part of it? I don't remember. But yeah, Alex kept pushing to make an appearance. But that's not what this whole video is about. In general, Alex Jones, I think he's pretty genius. In a way, he reminds me of Kanye, but more. I don't know if focused is the right word. Kanye was very all over the place, kind of in La La Land. I consider him a genius. He's very, they both see the big picture, right? And they both have all these ideas they're trying to get across and spout out. But Alex is much more, I don't know, he could articulate them better, but still, maybe he's incomprehensible because of the speed at which he does it, because they both kind of hop from topic to topic. But yeah, Alex is on the same level as Kanye, I think, definitely. And his memory is impressive. I think he says he has photographic memory that's kind of decaying with age, but when you see him remember facts, it's like he's looking at something, like he's looking straight ahead, and he has all these articles like, embedded in his brain, and it's impressive. So I got to give props to Alex Jones. I was never like a diehard fan, right? But before I got into Peterson, before I got into Shapiro, before I got into political stuff, anything really, I got to admit, I had a little phase where I watched InfoWars, and that was when I first started thinking about those terms. What is a libertarian? What is a conservative? What is a liberal? I remember he kind of triggered the first kind of like, oh, well, what are those things? What does that mean? And I think this was like 2014, 2015 for me. I think Alex Jones really triggered my political awakening, right? I didn't go, every now and then I'll go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, but really on a political level, he kind of got me thinking. And then I branched out, I found Jordan Peterson and all those kind of things. But yeah, I gotta give him props for that. And I bet you there's a lot of people out there too that have a similar story, whether you went the conspiracy route or just political route or whatever. Alex Jones deserves more credit. And it was interesting seeing them talk about the Bohemian Grove videos and what really blew Alex up in the first place. He was, he really isn't a conservative necessarily. He's just anti-corruption because they were talking about him speaking out against George Bush and just really any weird political corruption, whether they're worshiping the occult and burning effigies or just being scumbags, right? So yeah, Alex is he's a really interesting, controversial figure, but he gets a lot of things right too, which is you'll see a lot of memes saying on a long enough time scale, like Alex Jones gets everything right. Like he called out stuff like Epstein like years in advance. He's really ahead of the game on some stuff. But is it because he calls out so much that he's bound to get some stuff right? Because he does get stuff wrong. No, he's never going to live down. I don't think he will. The Sandy Hook situation. That's really, I think that's the main thing that kind of got him canceled. But he makes mistakes. So does mainstream media, right? It happens, but Alex doesn't let it get him down. He definitely uses it to his advantage. I feel like most podcasts he goes on, if he's on it, the views skyrocket. He's like some kind of conspiracy Socrates. He's right. He was corrupting the minds. He was corrupting the youth, and they had to metaphorically kill him off. But there's going to be Platos that will follow in his footsteps. Right. I don't know who those Platos are. If it's just conspiracy types. But anyway, he goes on Rogan. I think Rogan's second most viewed podcast was his second appearance. And this most recent one is probably going to be pretty high up there. Kanye's probably going to be pretty high up there too, I would think. Kanye goes on Logan or Jake Paul. Crazy views, right? Who else? The Drinking Bros. So it's funny when you try to censor something, the more people want to see it. And regardless, he's an entertaining guy. If you like him or not, if you agree with him or not, dude is entertaining. He can just go and go, and it's amazing. If you watch InfoWars, he just keeps going, and you can't stop him. It's amazing. So on an entertainer level, you got to give him props. I just don't understand why people think he's so dangerous. Maybe because he is just a Trump supporter, maybe because of Sandy Hook stuff. I don't know. And honestly, he's everything like a SJW type would be against. He's a masculine guy. Make fun of him all you want, fat guy or whatever. But dude, his voice sounds like a cowboy bull riding a bottle of whiskey. Like who has a natural voice like this? he's got the beard. He's this masculine, dangerous thing that's like everything I don't want to say soy boy, but that portion of the left is against, right? So it makes sense that they'd want to cancel him. His voice is great. Really, Alex should do ASMR. I think he can get away with it. I think he'd get a lot of views. And if he isn't already secretly a voice actor, he should really go for it on the side because he's got a crazy voice. He just capitalizes on all the things happening to him. The censorship, I feel like, didn't let it stop him. He goes full speed. He did express wanting to take a break on Rogan, that it's kind of driving him crazy. He doesn't get enough sleep. He thinks he's going to die of a heart attack. So stay healthy, Alex, right? But regardless, he after the censorship, he kept going harder. He had his own website, his own backup plan, right, to keep going. And he's able to go on other podcasts, like I was saying, and they just blow up every time he goes on. He definitely uses it to his advantage. He doesn't let anything stop him, that's for sure. Like Kanye, right? Very similar figure, I think. I think Kanye and Alex would be really good friends. They're both Christians, right? They're both politically leaning to the right. They both like Trump. I think they'd hit it off. And Kanye's into some conspiracies too. He was throwing out fluoride stuff on Rogan, and yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye watches InfoWars. But yeah, he definitely uses things to his advantage. he's memed into oblivion, but for his benefit, I think. My favorite meme of his is the I'm kind of retarded, or the best one's like Socrates said, "All I know is I don't know nothing." And under it is Alex Jones, "I'm kind of retarded." Same equivalent statement, right? He's a Socrates figure, I'd like to think, although he's probably more of a Joker figure. If you guys watch Jonathan Pageau, if you ever seen him, he's like a Christian that analyzes like symbolism in popular culture, and he considers Kanye like a fool figure. But when everything's upside down, the fool becomes what is it, like the savior, or the fool speaks truth, because when the world's upside down, they have like nothing to lose. Think of it like a crazy homeless person. They could speak the truth because they don't have a career they're worried about losing, or they could say what's right. So it's kind of the same idea. The fool can might say some crazy stuff, but he might say exactly what you need to hear. So maybe Alex is kind of a similar type of figure. But I'm laughing at that meme. I'm kind of retarded. That's and I feel like he owns it, right? I think he referenced it in the third podcast with Rogan. But what bugs me too, on his Wikipedia on Google, it says Alex Jones, a far right fake news figure. It's like, he's not far right. He's a libertarian. I mean, he leans right, but he's not far right. Dude's not racist. Just listen to him talk on the Rogan podcast. Like, he's not some crazy far right figure. What really happened, and a lot of people, this isn't my idea, the Overton window has moved farther and farther left in general. So the mainstream left is now the far left, and now the right has gone a little more to the left. You'll see conservatives that are, maybe there's some conservatives that aren't, that are pro-choice. Maybe there's some conservatives. President Trump's the most pro-LGBT president, and the only president that's supported LGBT, like gay marriage, since he went into office. Now, I mean, maybe that's just a factor of the times changing, but really interesting to think about. So Alex Jones, you could say whatever you want about him, but I don't think he's far right, and I don't think he's fake news. I think maybe he's embellished. I'll give you embellished news. Is he an entertainer? Is he grandiose with how he expresses his ideas? Definitely. But when you stop him and break him down and research and look up what he says, is there at least a kernel of truth? Does he get a lot of stuff right? Yeah, shockingly. He's a really interesting figure, and I don't think you could write him off. So say what you will about him. I think he's here to stay, unless he does decide to go on vacation. He might need it. It looks like he's losing some hair. He's getting older. I think he said he's in his late 40s. So maybe, Alex, maybe you deserve a vacation here after the election. I don't know. But I guess fighting globalism is a nonstop fight, right? So we'll see. I'm excited to see if he will actually be on the election Joe Rogan podcast. I will definitely watch. Here's an article. Let's see what The Guardian has to say about Rogan on Spotify. Oh, also, if you guys haven't yet, like and subscribe, share if you like what you see, if you want to see more videos like this. But let's continue. So interview with conspiracy theorist leaves streaming service in awkward position. So Spotify did come out and they said they were fine with this. I don't know if it's in this article, but it's interesting to see Spotify kind of backing up Joe Rogan. Not what I expected to see. I think there's probably some inner turmoil between the CEO and the workers, the SJW types. I guarantee that there's a lot of meetings, right? Joe Rogan, Spotify's biggest podcast star, has left the platform in an awkward position after conducting a lengthy interview with Jones, the conspiracy theorist banned by Swedish streaming company for producing hate content. Rogan, the libertarian host of is he libertarian? I think he says he's liberal. I could be wrong. The long-running and wildly popular Joe Rogan Experience uploaded a 3-hour discussion on Tuesday featuring Jones. How he helped spread conspiracy theories about 9/11 and Sandy Hook. Yeah. He's been banned on all major tech platforms: Spotify, everything, Facebook, Twitter. He told Rogan, "You got a huge audience. We can change the world right now." Very true. Joe Rogan's very humble, but he does have a big audience. Maybe his podcast can influence mine and change the world. I mean, it gets millions of views. Left-wing U.S. media campaign group Sleeping Giants tweeted, "Congrats on paying $100 million for the privilege of platforming a man who terrorized Sandy Hook parents. Spotify, this isn't edgy. This is disgusting." Until recently, Spotify has acted as a largely hands-off platform hosting music and podcasts produced by external record companies, outside broadcasters, blah, 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 blah. Signed a deal with Obama. Spotify has faced, there we go, internal complaints from staff about some of the show's content. So I think there's still some shows, I think it's on Spotify now, that haven't been uploaded. So maybe from this point on, they're not going to censor them, but I think there's some that weren't uploaded. I believe one of the Alex Jones ones. I could be wrong, but in the case of Joe Rogan, a total of 10 meetings have been held with various groups and individuals to hear their respective concerns. The streaming company founder Daniel Ek allegedly told Spotify staff, and some of them want Rogan removed because of the things he said in the past. So there's definitely some commotion going on. Rogan said, "It's just a licensing deal, so Spotify won't have any creative control of the show. They just want me to continue doing it the way I'm doing it now." So hopefully that's true, right? Throughout the interview, Rogan attempted to fact check many of Jones' claims by searching online for relevant news stories. He said, "This is why you need someone who's a fact checker on a show to slow him down." Not a bad idea, but part of Alex's charm is just a train wreck of of information, and I don't know, you get caught up in it. It's very entertaining. But Rogan also made clear his admiration for Jones, saying, "You've been correct about a lot of shit," which he has been. So what do you guys think? Is Alex Jones a fake news, far-right person to be avoided? Is he the bringer of truth? Is he an idiot? Is he retarded? Or is he a genius? Once again, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Later.